Do you guys really want to know how it feels like to be an Igbo man that doesn't believe in Biafra, but believes in one Nigeria? Not just believing, but pushing for that cause of a unified, united Nigeria, where everybody is equal and treated with fairness, equity, and justice. If you want to know how it feels like, watch this.
Even me that has spent the last 10 years preaching one Nigeria, that people that still ask me what my agenda is.
You believe in one Nigeria?
Yeah, I do.
Some of your, when I say IPOP brothers, because yes, they are brothers, but they believe differently from what you believe. Yeah. They might see you as a sold out. I mean, this guy is a sellout.
As an Igbo person that believes in one Nigeria, you get attacked from the two sides.
Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, they say you're a sellout, an apologist for the Northerners or whatever. They also think that I must have a government appointment. That's the only way I can be preaching one Nigeria. Somebody must be paying me. And then from the other side, people are looking at you with suspicion. What's your agenda? Things like that. But there's no agenda. There's just conviction and belief.
You truly believe in one Nigeria?
Yes. That for
you think that with one Nigeria, that's the only way it can work?
It's the only way it can work.
So, I mean, if you look at it for the marginalization, agitation, and those who believe that unfair treatment has been melted out on the Igbo race. You think that Nigeria has not moved forward from the Nigerian Civil War?
Yeah.
Is that the feeling you have?
Yes, we haven't. There are still issues from the war we need to resolve. Issues of suspicion against Igbo people. The fact that Igbo people are still sort of blamed as a collective.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that there should be a day for a reflection about the Nigerian Civil War. It's not because we want to celebrate the Civil War. It's because we don't want the wound that almost tore us apart to go back. People died. Yeah. People were starved to death. Yeah. People were wiped out. People's sense of belonging and sense of livelihood were erased. Yeah. And whether you belong to the other side on this other side, whatever side you belong, I think the nation needs to sit down and we need to start thinking about how we need to recognize that fault line and how we need to fix it.
Absolutely.
Being quiet about it will not fix it. I think,
help.
I don't know.
It just festers. That's what's happened over the years. Under the silence, the wound has just festered. So like you rightly said, that history has to be told. We have to learn it in schools.
Rightly.
Very important.
There's been a lot of different records of
I'm saying that it has to be a comprehensive telling. We have to bring together all the narratives, because if you listen to the North, you hear a narrative from this angle. If you listen to the Igbos, you hear a narrative from this angle. We have to bring all the narratives together to form a comprehensive narrative. And we have to tell that narrative, not looking to reopen the wounds, but to heal them. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to restart the war, but there is a way you look at me, even today in 2025 as an Igbo person, there's a way you are looking at me as a Northerner that is colored by what you've been told about what my people did 50 years ago. And we have to talk about that. You know that, because this is something I do actively. I was somewhere in Maiduguri doing a civic class, and we're talking about the war. And a young Kanuri man stood up and asked me very directly. He said, so tell me, was January 15 an Igbo coup or not? And the way he asked it, I could tell that the issue was still live. He wasn't born
as young as
he was. He asked me directly, was it an Igbo coup? Now, if we are not talking about these things, and I answered him, I said, yes, most of the planners were Igbos, but it doesn't make it an Igbo coup. The same way that you don't want to stereotype Fulanis today and just say Fulani headsmen are killing people in the bush. You know that it's not every Fulani headsman that's in the bush killing people. True. It's the same way that as Igbos, the fact that some Igbos planned a coup does not mean that all Igbos planned a coup and should be collectively punished. Absolutely. That collective punishment is always wrong and creates more wounds than the one is trying to heal.
Very true.
It doesn't mean that for instance, I have my views on the first coup. To me, it was one of the worst coups in the country because of the way it was organized and planned, and it had devastating consequences for the country. It's something that we also need to acknowledge that it wasn't right. But it also wasn't right to have a pogrom where people are killing people on the street simply because they are Igbo or they look Igbo. So there were many people that were killed that were not even Igbo, but just because they looked. In this country, pregnant women stopped, their bellies slit open, their unborn children brought out and killed because of their ethnicity.
Right.
These are things that should never happen. Mm-hmm. And unless we talk about it honestly, with a willingness to accept wherever the fault lies and say, you know what, that was wrong, we can't move forward.
True.
And it needs to happen.
Do you think that the nation can sit down and have a national reconciliation conversation similar to what we had in South Africa?
Yeah, I think that will work. I also think your earlier suggestion of a day where we remember the war. So you have many little conversations going on all across the country will also work. I think also having a structured way of teaching it and introducing that in, so that from primary school, secondary school, you're learning about it and about how to talk about it in a way that is honest, but not inflammatory. This is what intelligent design is about. We want to talk about it in a way that is honest, but not inflammatory, not provocative. So somebody has to design a curriculum, a narrative that allows young Nigerians to interrogate their past so that they can begin to move forward and so that Northerners and Southerners can start having more open minds towards each other. Nice. Because remember, because of the way the January 15 coup went, there is a feeling among certain sections of the North that Igbos can't be trusted. That they can rise up in the night and kill you. There's still that sense. And that's why even me as an Igbo person, I can be walking around preaching one Nigeria and you're still looking at me like, I know you are up to something. I know you have an agenda. A lot of that lingering attitude is coming from history. It's not coming from me or anything I'm doing.
You've heard him right. Now you understand how it feels like. Thanks for watching.